have no idea how many pieces I have in my collection. I get asked that all the time. I don't know how much money. I know there are some collectors that keep track of all this. I don't. Granted, I still have some store receipts that I bought when I first started at Walmart of Lego sets and such. I still have. But to put a money value on it, I have no idea how much I've spent. None. I was 9 years old when Star Wars came out. I started collecting the Topps trading cards first. I paid for them by gathering up pop bottles in the neighborhood and returning them to the local stores for 5 cents a piece. The trading cards were a blistering 15 cents a pack, and that's how my hobby started. I've seen the original Star Wars, not this New Hope garbage. The original Star Wars I've seen once at Works Drive-In Theater, only because my brother had went the night before, had seen it, thought it might be something I'd be interested in watching, and I went the next night. I have seen Star Wars countless times. I know I've seen it so many times, I don't need to have the volume one to watch the movie. I can go along with it for the entire film. I got hooked on the original movie from the beginning. The effects, the droids, the characters. That was all interesting for a 9-year-old. But as the movies developed and I got older, the characters is what kept me coming back and back and back to all the sequels. Most of my collection consists of the original Kenner toys and then later the Hasbro reissues that started in '95. I have all the originals but one. The Vinyl Cape Jawa is the only one I'm missing. The reason I collected the toys at the time, even they were a whopping $2.99, was that was basically all you could find. I know some of the fast food places like Burger King offered
Star Wars glasses at Burger King
and Burger Chef.
R2, look, it's us.
But Lucas was very particular about what he wanted to market to, and he mainly wanted to market towards kids, so he kept most of the stuff focused on toys until the later movies come out, like Empire and Jedi, and as the kids got older, he turned his focus on other things. The Chewbacca action figure of the 3 3/4 inch of the vintage line was the very first figure I owned. Don't know why it was Chewbacca. Don't know why I remember it was Chewbacca. But I know that's the very first one I had. I can remember scouring the local Big Wheel and Murphy Mart looking for toys. Even the McCrory's in New Martinsville, the old 5 and dime stores, used to carry some. $2.99 then was actually a lot of money, but I managed to get 11 of the original 12, with the Jawa being the only of the original 12, was the last of the original 12 that I didn't find. He was originally released on a vinyl, or with a vinyl cape. They changed it to a cloth cape, and maybe it was just the area, maybe it was just me. That was the hardest for me to find. I would save my lawn mowing money buying certain figures, certain vehicles. The first vehicle I can remember buying was a vintage Slave 1. I saved $20 from cutting grass, went to the KB Toy Store in the Vienna Mall in Parkersburg and bought that, in which I still have sitting in my bedroom. The first vehicle I remember owning, I got a Millennium Falcon for Christmas in 1978, 78, 79, one of the 2 years. Those things were, what, 25, 30 bucks, which was a lot of money back then. But that's the flagship for any Rebel fleet, and at the time that thing was massive, and the play value, you could create millions of scenes with that thing. After only seeing the movie once, Vader has always been my favorite. I don't know why. Maybe it was just the voice, the intimidating, the fact he was all black. Just as a kid, for some reason it excited me. The Vader was the only one of the original 12 I really, really wanted. And I do believe, getting him for a birthday. I think a birthday, Easter, one or the other. But that was a gift from my parents. I collected Star Wars up through Jedi, at least mostly through Jedi. When Jedi came out, I was a sophomore in high school. I was too old and hip to be collecting toys. But in '86, Kenner released what was known as the Power of the Force figures that come with a coin. And those are some of the most expensive figures to date, if you can find them still carded. I never had a one as a teenager, but now I have all of them loose and several carded. After Jedi, we didn't think there would be any more movies made, although I can remember somewhere in an interview where Lucas said he was going to make 9, but he'll deny the rumor, so I'm not going to give him the satisfaction. But after Return of the Jedi, the movies, no new movies, no new anything was out at the time. It wasn't fresh in people's minds. Everybody, interest waned. There was no toys, no anything. Then in late '94, actually it would have been 92, 93, there was a book come out called Heir of the Empire by Timothy Zahn, which I'd heard rumors about a new book coming out. And my mother bought it for me for Christmas. And I read it from front to back within 3 days. And that kind of lit the fire again for my wanting to collect. And it was then I started piecing some of the original figures and toys into my collection that I didn't previously have. Also around that time there was a collection called Bendham's that was made by a company called Just Toys. Little rubber figures with wire in they were junk, but it was just neat to see Star Wars back on the toy pegs again. And then a couple of years after that was when Hasbro reissued the figures, reissued the vehicles, and started the modern wave, which I do believe was in '95. And now, every time anything new, TV, book, there's always a media-related tie-in and toys for everything. And now with Disney buying and getting involved, the market may be oversaturated in the future, but at this point, I don't care. I'm too involved in it. I can't get out. I have to have one of everything, and we'll just have to wait and see. My piece count grows almost on a daily basis. I got mail coming all the time. Either people sending me stuff, finding stuff. Hey, I picked this up at a yard sale. Do you want this? And that's everybody else. And on my own travels, I pick up things. I at least look for things when I go. Other Wal-Marts, Toys R Us, Targets. Even some of the mom and pop stores, even like Dollar Store, Rite Aid, they've even carried Star Wars things before. The favorite piece. If I had to pick a favorite piece out of my collection, I'd probably be my original 12-inch Vader, still in the box, which I have upstairs on my computer desk. I'd say that would be my favorite piece. Some friends of mine and myself have decided we are trying to start a collecting club here in West Virginia called the West Virginia Star Wars Collector Club. It's basically a place for geeks, nerds, and dweebs who collect anything Star Wars to meet, swap, trade, sell, buy other pieces that you need for your collection, or other pieces you may want. Networking in the state is not a bad idea. Not everybody is privy to a Toys R Us or a Target or something down the street. So what we try to do is if you can buy them and you're willing to trade them or sell them for what you paid for them, we try to help out other collectors in the state who are having a hard time finding these items at retail instead of scalping or resorting to eBay and paying exorbitant prices for something that you can walk to a store and possibly find on any given day. I really enjoy collecting the toys. It's more the fun of the hunt than the actual collecting. Finding stuff in the wild when nobody else can is actually really, really exciting. I've met a lot of new friends, created a Facebook page. We've got a website where we do a show for charity. It's actually affected more of me now as an adult than it did as a kid, because I see people my age and kids, or folks I went to school with that have kids that now collect, and that's nice to see.